Hello and welcome to the Made in Africa podcast. I'm your host, Kemeshi Samuel, and we have in the studio with us today Subuola Oyeleye. I'm just happy that I'm getting the pronunciation right now. She's co-founder CEO of Beauty Hut Africa. Thanks for doing this with us, Shubu.
Thank you so much, Samuel. I'm lovely to be here.
Amazing. Okay, so just to kick it off real quickly, what was it like growing up? What was your childhood like? Would you say that the environment you grew in influenced what you are currently, your current career path?
I wouldn't say my childhood influenced my specific career path, but I would say maybe my entrepreneurial abilities. My childhood did have a part to play in that. My parents both are both entrepreneurs and own their own businesses,
Amazing.
And have built their own companies.
Oh, really?
From the ground up.
Yeah, I can see how, that would definitely... Okay, we're going to come back to that. But tell us a little about your educational background and previous professional background before Beauty Hut Africa.
Yeah, of course. So I studied psychology and neuroscience in university. I was pre-med, pre-med school, and I decided against going to med school.
Jesus.
So I would say that's my educational background. However, my professional background, I've worked in the beauty industry my whole career prior to starting Beauty Huts. So I've worked brand side with a lot of top retailers across the world. So your Sephora, which a lot of people would liken like the part of the vision of Beauty Hut to Boots, Target, your international retailers. I've worked brand side with them.
Amazing.
And also prior to Beauty Hut, I did build a company called Skin Science. So that was actually the proof of concept that we built Beauty Hut off the back of. Did that for over 3 years. And that was a skincare retail company in Nigeria, which I built, I want to say part-time. I was definitely part-time involved in the business. But we did scale it to quite a considerable amount. And that basically gave us the grounds to build Beauty Hut.
Amazing. So I'm curious, why didn't you follow through on your medical journey? Because I would imagine it was a safe career path, right?
It was, but I feel like it was a safe career path and it was definitely something that I was excited about at a point in my life. But then I guess getting closer to the time, I just didn't feel like it was my idea, like it was my dream anymore. Or something I was as passionate as I was before. And I think I'd come to that realization that my reasons behind wanting to study medicine were very much from like an impact point of view. And I definitely got to the point where I was realizing more and more that there's so many other ways to create impact without actually working in the field. So I'd say that's my answer to that.
Now you'd mentioned you'd worked on a similar business to Beauty Hut Africa before now. What happened to that business? Did you sell it?
So we transitioned it into Beauty Hut. So it's transitioned into Beauty Hut.
Amazing.
So retaining customers, retaining like the brands, brand partners, but it was just one subset of the business. So it was skincare, business to consumer. So obviously Beauty Hut is so much bigger than that, so many more categories, but that particular segment has transitioned into Beauty Hut. So,
how did you stumble on the name Beauty Hut Africa? I think it's
nobody has ever asked me that. Nobody has ever asked me that, but I was praying.
It's a mouthful, kind of. I mean, we are used to...
Nobody said Africa part.
Exactly,
So it's more for like... Hut, for you to understand what we're doing. But Beauty Hut, how did I stumble across Beauty Hut? I actually prayed.
For real?
Yeah.
Nice.
I was like, I was thinking about a name for over a year, and it just nothing came to me. Yeah. Wow. So we launched Beauty Hut towards the end of 2023, and the actual idea for Beauty Hut came beginning of 2021. So I've been planning towards it for quite a while, and I just hadn't come up with a name, and I was definitely in I was in a period where I need to figure this out now. And I literally prayed, and literally in the next half an hour after praying, the name just came to me. So
I find that very interesting because we've had a guest on the show who, fortunately for me, is currently my co-founder.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He got the idea for our company in his church. He was actually praying, and then that was what he told us. And then the idea dropped. I'm like, okay, we don't hear this very
it's true.
Often.
Like that. Nobody has actually asked me how I came up with the name. But the truth is, honestly, that I was like so frustrated that I couldn't come up with a name.
Okay.
And I just needed something to tie in what we're doing. And that's how it happened.
Amazing. What I've noticed from interviewing, I think, over maybe 25 or 30 founders now is what I found very common is that they have a process. So they like write random words down that sort of like reflects the idea of the business. And then they mix match. And
so mine is pretty obvious what the business is.
Yeah,
so
it
like,
does.
It's like a home for beauty, like
definitely.
Beauty Hut.
I love it.
But yeah, so I guess that's kind of how I got there as well.
When you decided not to pursue medicine again, what did your parents say?
They definitely saw it coming.
Yeah. Really?
So, actually, I don't know.
Yeah.
I had gone through different routes.
Okay.
So I said, okay, I'm not going to do medicine. I'm going to do like a master's in public health, which is something that I was interested in.
Okay.
And then I was like, you know what? Like, actually, maybe I can delay the master's in public health by a year and do this thing and like start skin science, which was this crazy idea I had at the time. Yeah. But they were okay with it because, I sold the NYSC story.
Okay. That's a classic. Story. It works.
So it was for them, it was like, maybe something I'm doing whilst I'm doing NYSC. But like, I guess that's what comes to where I am today. So I'm happy.
Amazing. Congrats. You recently got into Techstars.
Yes.
Yeah, amazing. That's a very big feat because Jude of Get Equity, yeah, he has been on the show before. Exactly. It was a very fantastic episode. Tell me, what was the process like getting into Techstars? The application, was it stressful? I can imagine it to be stressful, but were you having doubts initially?
You know what? I've been thinking about this recently.
Yeah.
I am the only female CEO in the cohort.
Yeah.
And I guess my business does stand out in a different way.
Yeah, it does.
But I would say that I think the reason that I got in was that I applied. I know that's not the answer you wanted
Honestly,
to hear.
I was not expecting that.
But I think that when you actually think about it, like you get things because you go for them. And like I've just started realizing that much more. That like I think that when you actually look at things, you really don't know what you're capable of until you put yourself in a position that kind of shows that for you. And I think that's what Techstars was for me. I had said I was going to apply for like months. I just didn't because I felt like it just wasn't the type of business that like they would typically invest in, or it wasn't. I just didn't think that my business was,
core
it's
tech.
Not fintech, it's not health tech, it's not all these things.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really confident in the idea of applying.
Yeah.
But I think closer to the time, I was which was a few days before the deadline, actually. I was like, you know what, should we just do this? And I did. And I'm grateful that I did. But I think that it all boils down to the fact that like I would never have known that they would have considered Beauty Huts. If I didn't actually like take that step and apply. So I think it's a female thing.
Yeah.
I think that like women, and even speaking to like the managing director of the Techstars in Lagos as well, women are usually much more cautious
about this
before doing anything, and like they overthink it and they want to have every skill in the book. But the amount of like applications that they received that were terrible, majority of them were for men. Because that's how men have that confidence to apply. I'm not saying that they were terrible. Like I didn't see them, but I'm saying that were below par. So I think that women do definitely think that they need so much more when they apply or they go for things. So I think that's my answer to you. So was it difficult, the application? I think if you're a founder, like that type of things, it should not be difficult
for you, right?
Applying to stuff, like you should get used to it. But so, that's my answer.
How do I phrase this question? What were you looking to gain from being a part of Techstars? So
I think, honestly, the Techstars program is just about to come to an end next week, actually. And I'm extremely grateful for the program. What I was trying to gain was I would say, investor readiness and more knowledge about the processes that it takes to build a venture scalable company.
Yeah.
And I do think that, like, it's such a confusing journey, scaling in a venture way, that I think there's so many things you don't know until you're learning alongside, the people that know it best.
Exactly,
and I don't think people have that advantage normally. So I think there's so many things that we don't know. And I think, like, places like Techstars, other accelerators, really, really teach you how things are done and how things should be done. So I'm grateful for that. Like, I did do a lot of learning myself, like, and you have to, as a founder, you have to look for every sort of resource that you can get your hands on. But there's so many things I didn't realize, or I didn't understand, or I didn't have the support with until the Techstars accelerator.
Yeah, amazing. So earlier you said you're a single founder. And I've sort of like spoken with so many founders, and I've realized that being the only founder can be a lot of work, right? Because you are thinking about everything about the business at the same time. You're thinking about the product itself. You're thinking about the business model. How do I refine this? You're thinking about your customers, thinking about how to approach investors. It could be a lot. Yeah. Are you considering at any point in time getting someone on board to maybe take off some of those responsibilities?
So yes, your assumptions are correct. Being a solo founder is tough. It's extremely tough. It's been a really tough journey, I'll be honest. It hasn't been easy.
I can imagine.
But it's not because I don't want a co-founder. I think that when you're building something that you're extremely passionate about, having the wrong partners to do so can definitely put you in the mud.
Yeah.
So whilst I am open to the concept of having co-founders along the way, once I find somebody that I believe aligns with me and the company that we've built to this point, I would definitely be happy with that. But at the moment, I don't have one, but I'm open to it. I'm open to the idea of it. And even just having one is something that hopefully I'll have in the future.
Fantastic. So now the elephant in the room. Tell us what exactly Beauty Hut Africa is and the problem you're trying to solve with your company.
Okay, so Beauty Hut is a distributor for beauty and personal care products. So your skincare, makeup, hair care, fragrance, supplements, whatever you term under beauty and personal care. And the main problem that we're solving is the fact that the main problem that we're solving in general is the fact that people find it difficult to access personal care products in Africa at an affordable price.
Definitely.
In good time, that is safe, that is not like...
Not a counterfeit or something.
That's not counterfeit. And it's more so, it's from the consumer side and the business side as well. So a lot of international beauty and personal care brands, they want to be in Africa. They want to be in these countries, but they don't find the right partners as well. So it's a two-sided problem, I would definitely say.
Amazing. I know, I'm not very big. I don't know so much about skincare, right?
But you showered today.
I did, yeah.
That's my understanding.
I shower, I think, twice every day.
You so puppy.
Yeah, I did. Anyways, but I know I've been seeing, I don't want to mention names, but there are a lot of videos going on around Supa beauty skincare products, right, that are not registered with the appropriate bodies. And what can you say about that? Is that one of the reasons why Nigerians are scared of using locally made products because they're not sure about the quality of these products? Or is it because they are more affordable than the foreign brands?
It's actually both. So I'll speak on the affordability as well. So I will speak on the affordability first, rather. So at the end of the day, when these international products are being brought into the country at such a high price, and you can't afford that, you're going to look for what are the cheaper alternatives, and that's how you get into that kind of mess, right? But I think the most important thing to note about the type of industries that people would look for alternatives, it's something that is not, you don't really realize, but in Nigeria alone, regardless of income, earnings, whatever you're earning, 90% of women spend money on beauty.
Oh, wow.
And that's a huge number.
Yeah.
So even people that are earning like 10,000 naira a month or whatever, there's still a pocket there for their cream or whatever. So when you think about how we get to the unsafe side of things, that is how we get to it, because it's just like, if I can't afford something that's being brought in, you know, resellers are selling it for 3 times the price that it should be sold at, I'm going to look for alternatives. So that's the first problem. Okay. And the second problem, obviously, we have the governing bodies for cosmetics and the likes not regulating the industry as much, and that does lead to problems like that. But I think what it now boils down to is the fact that if we had better access to things at a better price, people would be less likely to go for things that are like inauthentic or or not safe for your products, because you know there's so many health issues that come from things like this. So it's a very difficult play. But yeah, those are the kind of things we're solving.
Amazing. So for because I know that running a company can be difficult, right? There's a lot of uncertainty as an entrepreneur. What are some of the challenges that you are currently facing in your company, both internally and externally?
And spiritually. FX.
Okay, we can have that as well.
FX, foreign exchange. So yes, I say that's the most difficult problem, is being able to just react normally to the foreign exchange rates. It's difficult when a lot of the country, your businesses are dependent on the dollar.
It's very, very
and obviously,
difficult.
As you can see in our country, it's crazy. When I started Skin Science, which was slightly over 3 years ago, which is the business that transitions into beauty health, it was $360 to the naira.
Wow.
In 3 years, it's 1,500 naira.
It's mind-blowing.
Sorry, 360 naira to the dollar. That's 1,500.
That is crazy.
So it's just, I was selling the same product. So it's just crazy seeing things that were maybe like once like 2,000 naira being 10,000 naira. Like it's just crazy. And like earnings haven't gone up significantly as well. So I think that's really tough to deal with. And obviously it does disappoint customers. And the customers are who you're building for.
Exactly.
So,
I would imagine that would affect sales, right?
The way the industry works, I wouldn't lie to you. I don't think a lot of people realize, but beauty is such a resilient industry.
Oh, really?
People in Nigeria, especially, which is where we started, want to look good.
Yeah, definitely.
You're going to like, let's say you're going to. I always tell people that people get like makeup artists to go to weddings when they don't know who's getting married.
Exactly.
That is actually the idea of beauty here. Like people would rather. People spend more money on like the beauty and personal care products than their groceries. If you actually look at the numbers, I don't think you realize that off the top of the jump, maybe because you're a guy.
Probably.
But women, it's such a priority for them. So it's very resilient. So I'm grateful for that. But so it's not like, I mean, as of today, I can't tell you that we're earning less because of the FX.
Okay.
But it does affect the business. From like a pricing point of view, from like a customer satisfaction point of view, it's a difficult one to deal with. But I guess thanks to African women, we're still going great.
Amazing.